Is this what Dana White's been talking about? Is this what he's teasing? We got the biggest fight coming up this year, next in fall in 2025, and it's going to be big and you're not going to know what it is. It's going to come out of nowhere. What the fuck is he talking about? Like, I think everyone's curious. Everyone's questioning what the fuck is he talking about? Every time he talks about this shit, I think the Sphere came out of nowhere. We got all these like little different things that come like power slap, and I don't know where he's going with this, but I have a theory. Okay. And hear me out, because they've been teasing this for years and years and years and years and years. Do you remember Zuffa Boxing? I don't know if it's still called Zuffa Boxing. I don't know if they call it something else now, or when they did sell the rights of Zuffa over to WME, did they also trade that? I really don't know. I would assume so, possibly. But my theory, this is my theory, is the fact in 2025, we're going to have the first ever Zuffa Boxing, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the brand is. If it's still that, I have no idea. But if the OGs, people that actually follow the fight game, will probably know what I'm talking about. When the Fertitta brothers were running the UFC, it was under the brand Zuffa, okay? They also went on to create Zuffa Boxing, which never really did anything. But Dana White has teased and teased and teased for years. Oh, we're going to get into boxing. Oh, we're going to do this. Well, didn't they sign the Callum Walsh kid, who apparently is being coached by Freddie Roach, and Dana White loves him, and he's got, oh, I think he's so great. And I think he's like 12-0 or something like that. He's some up and coming fighter out of Ireland. I could be wrong. Ultimately, this is where I think that they're going to go with it. Conor McGregor versus one of the Pauls to start the Zuffa Boxing. And they're going to have Callum Walsh on the undercard, or at least co-main. Now, which Paul brother? Because obviously there is a complete competitive side between Jake and Logan, where obviously the younger brother, who is, in my opinion, making bigger and better splashes in the space, or at least in his career, whether you like or hate Logan or Jake or however you feel, you can't do anything but respect what he's done and what they both been able to do in their own respective careers. Logan in WWE, and then you got Jake going over here with boxing, signed with PFL. We'll see if he ever joins the Smart Cage. Regardless, there is a brotherly competition between the two of them on which one's going to have the bigger fight, the better career. I feel personally that every time Jake does something like he did with Mike Tyson, Logan feels, well, I'm super jealous and I need to do that too, or I need to do it better. It's fucking weird from the outsider's perspective, but if you got brothers, you kind of understand slightly. Ultimately, I think it's going to be Jake Paul. He moves the needle more. He's actually boxing, and he's more of a boxer than Logan Paul. Logan also sucks ass, but I could also see Conor wanting to go with Logan because he's probably less of a threat. Now, here are some of the questions that I have. When's it going to happen? Well, Dana White has claimed that it's going to happen in the fall of 2025. So we'll see if that's actually going to stay true, because you know how Dana is, Uncle Fester. It's always, oh, this is going to happen. Did we get Conor McGregor last year? No, we did not. Is it going to be this year? We might not ever get him to return. But the fact in which Dana is always going to say, oh, this, oh, that, this, and it might not even be a thing, because you can't really fault him for it. He's trying to promote. He can't control whether they sign the contract. So when, I don't know 100%, but fall is looking like the target. Now, two positions on where. IRL location, where's the streaming and pay-per-view platform going to be? Either way, I think that that's important to know. They're talking about in India, in Mumbai. And then if it's Jake or Logan, is it on Netflix? Is it on Peacock? Is it on ESPN Plus? Is it XYZ locate DAZN? I really don't know. I would assume it's probably going to be Netflix. If I had to guess, Netflix with Jake Paul. Now, how is this going to happen? And who's going to be putting up all this fucking money? Because it's not going to be the UFC. You think the UFC cares to go and do this? You know, like, this is more like a side project for Dana, side project for Conor. Try to push, Callum Walsh, try to actually do something on the side away from the UFC. I could see that happening. But how is this even going to happen? Because the UFC needs to clear Conor McGregor to even go and do this. Now, obviously, we've seen it happen before. Conor has that permission. He's got that pull. He's got that power. Now, whether he's going to use it to try to get a humongous payday in Mumbai, India, that's where they're speculating the investors from. I believe the Khan family. I don't know much about it. I'm not going to start saying, oh, it's this for sure. Obviously, the UFC has to let it happen. They have to get their cut. They're in on this business deal, whether Conor likes it or not. That's how the contracts go. Think about the last time he did this with Mayweather. They were co-promoting, but they barely did shit and got a cut from his purse. Pretty understandable, the fact that he has to give something to the UFC. He's got to break off a piece to the UFC to go and do this. Now, obviously, Dana, the UFC, the brass, everybody over there is always going to let Conor McGregor go and fucking make bajillions of dollars like this, as if it's possible. And what kind of Conor McGregor are we getting? Now, I'm not here to talk about the whole civil case, whether he's guilty, whether he's not guilty. That's not my place. Not that I don't care that people are doing bad shit in the world. I do care. It's just not my place. All right. They had their own day in court. They got their own legal. Let them do. I'm not here to fucking judge that. Okay. Whether it's true or not ain't for me. Now, the one thing I do want to point out, right? Not a similarity, but a situational similarity maybe, was post Mike Tyson. He was convicted of rape. He went to jail. And his first pay-per-view out made a shit ton of fucking money. I have a similar thought where this is gonna probably do the same for Conor, even though he didn't go to jail and it was a civil case opposed to a criminal case. Now, whether that's even the right terminology, I don't know. I ain't no fucking lawyer. I'm not gonna act like it. But what I'm trying to point out was the similarities between a post Mike Tyson getting out of jail, first fight returning, and then a Conor McGregor post this bullshit, post his leg, and now returning. It could do crazy numbers. I mean, it's a Conor fight, but even more because of all the crazy shit that has happened leading up to this. And does Conor stay in boxing? Does Conor from now on move away from MMA and he's just in Zuffa Boxing, if this is the right theory, if I'm correct? Does he stay in boxing? Does he now have a whole new career as a boxer opposed to in MMA? It's something he's already done. It's already something he's achieved. He's made a shit ton of fucking money in. Is that something he even wants to go back to? I believe Tyrone Spong broke his leg and then just straight went to boxing, and he was some sort of kickboxer, and it was very, very tough to come back from. I mean, ask Anderson, ask Chris, ask anybody that's had that injury. It's very, very difficult. But take that back. I don't think you need to have the injury to know that's fucking difficult to recover from. Regardless, I would understand if he stayed in boxing. Big payday, less wear and tear, less ability to break your leg like that. And it would probably be best for him moving forward in his own life. At the end of the day, though, this is the only theory that I have. Could this be Zuffa Boxing? Could this be Callum Walsh on the undercard or co-main event of a Conor McGregor versus Jake or Logan Paul in Mumbai, India? I have no idea. This is the speculation and my theory as to what Dana could be talking about here in the fall. Let me know your thoughts down below. And will we ever get a Zuffa Boxing debut? Who the fuck knows?